Coming up on Kochie's Business Builders, a family business with a legacy for safety and security needs a succession plan. From clicks to conversions, we unpack the latest e-commerce trends. Plus, we step inside BioPak's green evolution with founder Gary Smith. G'day and welcome to a new episode of Kochie's Business Builders, the show where we bring you the latest tips, tricks and success stories from the nation's small businesses. Thanks for joining us. This week, get ready to dive into the heart of family business dynamics as we meet Matt Harrison from AFS Group. Matt's been running this business with his family for more than 30 years, but getting AFS shipshape for the next generation has its challenges. So we sent in succession expert Bill Withers to help Matt unlock the secrets of enduring success.
G'day Matt, it's good to be here to talk to you about succession. And first of all, well done on your effort over 35 years to build a great SME. Give us some idea of, say, your primary offering.
Currently, safety leadership, which is anything around safety, whether it's security, work health and safety, training, education, anything that adds to the safety of a business, people in general, events. That's our sort of core business now.
You built a substantial business of around 100 people. What is your vision for the business?
I've always wanted to have something to pass on to my kids, but having said that, I also encourage them to go out and do their own thing, because it may not be what they want. This is my goal or my dream. I just want to leave some sort of, look, I think legacy is a bit cliche, but I want to make a difference, and that might sound a little bit silly, but everything we do is tailored to try and make things safer for people, make things better for people. So that would be what I want to leave.
So if you could build a business that goes for another 35 years,
yep,
obviously with far less input from Matt, you'd be happy. Yeah,
and I think probably my staff would be too. I think the biggest challenge for them is me. They often wonder what I'm going to bring back with from a meeting or from a trip when I'm interstate visiting other clients. So yeah, so they do get a little anxious sometimes when I come back and go, right, we're doing this now.
And I guess that's one of the great challenges for you, which we'll talk about later, is the idea of how you develop not only people that can lead the business operationally, but how the people that you develop as leaders actually form the strategies of the business independent of you.
Yeah.
Do you see that as a challenge?
I absolutely do, and I think that one of the biggest challenges I have faced is saying no. My whole philosophy was say yes to everything and work it out later.
Right.
So it's very hard to get out of that mindset. The girls upstairs are often telling me we need to say no sometimes, or you can't just do everything for everybody.
So that's actually a common pattern. It's a very good thing. Often our strengths and weaknesses are at the same point.
Yeah.
So it's part of the strength, but it's also one of our great weaknesses. I think we're well set to begin the conversation about succession in greater detail. So I'd like to share with you not succession planning, but some succession thinking.
Sounds great.
G'day folks, Tracy Sheen, the Digital Guide, back with another tech tip. Now, do you create long-form videos in your business? Are you someone that does webinars or workshops on virtual platforms? Did you know there's now AI that you can run over the top of those longer-form videos and turn them into short-form content? Check them out. I use one called Get Munch. Vizmeo, there's also Clap. You can take a 30-minute, 1-hour webinar, run it through the AI, it will break it up into content for you that you can then repurpose onto platforms like YouTube or TikTok or any of your other social media platforms. The point is, if you've got long-form content that you're creating and you're sitting on, you need to be repurposing it and get it out onto your social media. Have some fun with it. They're great fun to play with. I'll catch you for another tech tip.
Coming up, the e-commerce trends shaping the online landscape, plus marketing on a shoestring budget. We find out the easiest ways to get big sales on a small spend. Welcome back to Kochie's Business Builders. Well, online sales kept so many Australian businesses alive during the pandemic, and a recent e-commerce report suggests the trend will continue. According to the Australia Post 2023 e-commerce industry report, total Australian retail spending in 2022 reached $242 billion. Now, the report suggests that businesses benefiting the most from e-com sales had a multi-channel approach with a mix of bricks and mortar and online stores. What's also interesting is that 8 in 10 Aussie households made online purchases in 2022. 30% of them straight from their mobile phone. Joining me to unpack the stats is our resident e-commerce guru, Paul Waddy, author of Selling Online and Shopify for Dummies and founder of learnecommerce.com.au. Paul, good to see you. It's a fascinating report, isn't it? So bricks and mortar mixed with online stores is the key. How do you align the two?
I think it's really encouraging to see a lot of naysayers sort of saying the death of bricks and mortar. Not true. It's an omni-channel approach for sure. But I think the overwhelming reason that I think omni-channel still works is people still like to talk to people. Your average order value is going to be a little bit higher in store because people can touch and feel the product. So I don't think it's one or the other. I think there's a lot of good examples of really good brick and click businesses working those two channels together.
Okay, and the report says rural and remote customers are just an online powerhouse. So if you're a small business, do you need to do anything different to appeal to that segment of the market?
You do, and Wagga, Toowoomba, these suburbs or towns are always in the top 5 to 10 in Australia. Everyone thinks that Sydney, Brisbane, Melbourne, not true. So rural towns are huge consumers in e-commerce. So what have you got to do to appeal to those guys? Have really good, clear, fast, economic shipping times. That's really it. So when you have your shipping tables on your site, your website, don't just call out the capitals. Call out the postcodes. Have the ability for someone in Toowoomba to see exactly how quickly you'll deliver to them.
And the connection online is being dominated by mobile phones, isn't it?
Yeah.
How should that affect our thinking?
It's simple. If we're building a website these days, it has to be mobile first. In other words, you need to be designing it knowing that most of your traffic will come from mobiles. It's not good enough anymore to do a desktop-only website. So you're always going to have more viewers on your website via mobile, but interestingly, Kochie, you'll have a higher conversion rate on desktop. So what I think is happening is people are consuming the website, browsing on their way to and from work, and then they're getting home, having a cup of coffee, opening the desktop.
So they're researching on their mobile and doing the deal on desktop.
Exactly. Yep.
Oh, that's interesting. Paul Waddy, thanks for joining us.
Thanks,
really appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Anaita Sarkar from Sell Anything Online. Today's small business help desk question is from Sue at Moss the Label. I am struggling with marketing. A few companies have told me if I'm not making $10,000 a month, they can't help me. What can I do? Sue, I am so sorry that you've been told that, but here's what I would do on a tight budget to make more sales. The first thing that I would do is focus on creating exceptionally great content. Great content comes from things like educational tips, expertise, behind the scenes, storytelling, and customer stories. The next thing that I would do is educate myself on learning Facebook ads. And this can be at a really low cost of like $8 to $10 a day. Another great cost-effective marketing strategy is through brand collaborations. I would love it if you could partner with another brand of similar size to you, but in a non-competing industry, and run a promotion, specifically a giveaway, where you can get in front of their audience and they can get in front of yours. Another thing that I love to do is use micro-influencers as my brand ambassadors. You're able to send them a product or service in exchange for them creating fantastic content that you can use on your social media or on your website. And the last thing that I would recommend, which is my favorite thing of all, is to make sure that your email flows are firing and that you're sending email campaigns to your database regularly. Email flows are automatic emails that get sent to your database based on what they do on your website. It's a great way for people to return back to your website and make sales while you sleep. I know this seems like a lot, but you don't need to do everything. Just take one of these points and get started from there.
After the break, get ready to go green with Gary Smith, CEO of BioPak, as we delve into the sustainable revolution reshaping the food packaging industry. Welcome back to Kochie's Business Builders, where we shine a spotlight on entrepreneurs who are reshaping industries and driving innovation. Today we have Gary Smith in the hot seat. Gary is the CEO and co-founder of BioPak, an Aussie company revolutionising the food packaging industry with its sustainable solutions. Gary, thanks for joining us. Good to see you.
Thank you, David. Thank you for having me.
BioPak is leading the evolution of greening of Australia. Tell us how it all started.
Just a couple of guys over a desk, a trestle table. We identified in those days a lot of polystyrene, a lot of plastic packaging. We identified that there was no real end-of-life solutions for packaging, and that's something, David, that lasts literally 5 or 10 minutes in your hands.
Yeah.
Yet it is on the earth for millions of years.
A noble cause, but it's a massive issue. How did you take those first steps to establishing BioPak?
It was really a 15-year overnight success, as they say. It was really difficult. We had to look for raw materials. We had to develop solutions. And most importantly, we had to find businesses that were prepared to work with us, prepared to trial our products, prepared to look for alternate solutions. And in the beginnings, it was really difficult because big business was really hesitant to look, very hesitant to change. We looked to the consumer. We looked to the man in the street to try and say, where can we lead them in a sustainable pathway to create solutions, to change behaviours?
Okay, so it was basically customers were leading business to change. Was that the most significant sort of driver for your business back then?
100%, if you like, a eureka moment, if you like.
Yeah.
It was really, we knew when we went to big business, cost was the driver. It was all about cost. And also habits. When you've been dealing with the business for 30 years and a new kid on the block walks in, very difficult to change minds. And those were the brick walls we found. And we try to plough them down as hard as possible. So ultimately, we had to find a way around to create that demand, to educate, to really get people, and in small quantities and small volumes, to start the movement. And that absolutely fed up the food chain. It put pressure on corporate. It put pressure on businesses. I think it even put pressure on our competition. The education was what fed up the food chain to create, our business today.
BioPak was one of the first groups to be B Corp certified.
Correct.
How important was that?
I think it was a natural extension of what we did. But to get an international recognition or certification was great, because our policy has always been, before being B Corp certified, people, planet, profits. And that's the mantra of being a B Corp business.
Yeah. When you go and pitch to business, how do you pitch to them to say, hey, it's important for you to get on board?
We literally take them through a journey of their product. We show them the benefits of our philosophies over what they do. So it's just an education process. It's just a process of them understanding the impact of everything they're doing.
I love your passion. It's contagious. But if there's one thing a small business owner could do in their organisation today to make a difference, to take that first step, what would you suggest?
We got to think of food, unfortunately, not packaging. We look at food as an emitter. It would be the third largest country, Kochie, after China and America, just the food waste in landfill. So if I was any business, I'd look, how can we push our council? How can we push our local waste companies to say, right, we'll separate our food waste, take it to organic recycling, compost it. We don't need white papers or research papers. We have it at scale. We have stadiums. We have shopping centres. We have the ability to put it in your bins at home in South Australia. And there are other pockets within Australia, not whole states, but elements of different councils and suburbs.
Just finally, the most valuable lesson you've learned on your entrepreneurial journey, what would it be?
Regret and revenge suck in energy, and they just halt your momentum. I'd say if something goes wrong in your business, if something upsets you, if something goes, definitely sets you back, forget it. Because it doesn't help spending energy in analysing and being upset about it. In my career, the sooner I forget it, the more I can put all 100% of that energy is how do I build going forward.
That is such great advice that I reckon every business owner can relate to. Gary, it's been so great to chat. Thank you and all the very best with BioPak.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
After the break, succession expert Bill Withers returns to AFS Group to make certain founder Matt Harrison is on track to create a lasting legacy for his dynamic family business. Welcome back to Kochie's Business Builders. It's time to check in with family business expert Bill Withers to discover the key changes needed to make sure AFS Group is an enduring success for the Harrisons.
Okay, so Matt, I now know that you have a succession challenge.
Yep.
The problem with succession planning is that a plan tends to be project-oriented. It has a start and a finish. I'd like to introduce you to a new term, which is succession thinking. So my book here introduces this to challenge succession planning because it's about how we build our businesses so that the outcome is succession. So to really get to the nitty-gritty of it with you, we're going to explore principle one of succession thinking, which is to seek role clarity. So I'm going to ask you some questions about you and your business via a deck of cards here.
Okay.
All right. First of all, are you the owner of the business?
I am.
Okay, and what percentage do you own?
101%.
Okay, so you are a director of the business.
I am, yes.
Okay, so the next one then that I'm going to ask you about is organisational leadership. Now, what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to pause for a moment, and over here you can see that the owner card, we have some definitions, right? Can you just read that one out?
Forms and implements strategy while considering the whole system.
And the reason I bring that up is that you, as a founder of the business, have had all the jobs, all the way through it. What's interesting is you build a business, you bring in people that become more and more specialised, and they tend to not have that holistic view of the business.
Yeah.
So to develop these people is a non-trivial task for SMEs.
Yep.
Anyway, are you the champion of the values of the business?
That would be debatable, but probably falls into my lap, yeah.
So everybody's allocation of work and operational leadership, is that you?
It is.
This one here is you're a team member and you're a technician. Now, tell me, what sort of technician roles? Do you sell your offering?
Yes.
Do you deliver your offering?
Yes.
Do you do customer nurturing?
Guilty.
Yes. So congratulations, you're like most owner leaders of small business. You have the full stack. Now, for us to be able to do any form of succession work, what we need to do is we need to focus on this one. As an owner, you have a sub-role called vision custodian.
Okay.
So you've said you'd like to build a business that lives on in perpetuity?
Yep.
Okay, let's go to your ownership and future ownership then. What we can do to form your vision is think of it through all the stakeholder groups of your business. So the future owners, who would you like to be the future owners of your business? You could be your family.
Yeah, look, that'd be ideal, but yeah, they've got to want to do it.
It's feasible for the family to own the business, but not work in the business.
Okay.
Right? The problem with that, though, is are they vision custodians? Once you know you've got this vision custodianship, you know you can hand it over to somebody else.
Yep.
So there's the family, then there's the potential for the leaders of the business or to develop leaders of the business that also become owners. What we often find in family businesses where there is the potential for the family is that a blend of those is a good outcome.
Yep.
I think there's a couple of things that I can give you as tasks to take away from this to get the ball rolling. The first of all is to really digest the concepts of role clarity and look at these cards and write down how your week works with respect to the distribution across these different roles. Number two is start thinking about, okay, what do I want for everyone? What do I want for my family? What do I want for myself? What roles do I want to play?
Well, I think organisational is probably the key. I've got to divide my time up and document it and be accountable to myself first and foremost before I can be of any use to anyone else. Looking forward to it. Thanks for all your advice, Bill. It's great.
Bill gave some terrific advice there that will hopefully put AFS Group on track for success for many years to come. But that's just about all we have time for today. Remember, if you're looking for the latest tips, news or expert advice, you can find them online 24/7 at kochiesbusinessbuilders.com.au or follow Kochie's Biz on Facebook, LinkedIn, Insta and X, and we will catch up next time. Next week on Kochie's Business Builders, brand strategy tips to keep Roundabout Circus flying high. Plus, entrepreneur David Light illuminates the secrets behind Icon by Design